Negro Leagues were so different than the way they played the game in the major leagues. And really, as I like to refer to it, Negro Leagues baseball was hip-hop in a jazz era. It absolutely changed not only the way the game was played, but also changed our country for the better.
In the year 2022, it's kind of hard to imagine that once upon a time, there was a separate professional baseball league for black and brown people. The Negro Leagues are now dead and gone, but the legacy still lives on. This brings us to Nashville, Tennessee, one of the most historically rich cities in America without an MLB franchise. But I think the days without a franchise are numbered. American businessman John Lohr, a man invested in bringing baseball back to Nashville, approached Nashville baseball historian Skip Nipper, inquiring about the city's baseball history. Nipper pointed Lohr to a former Negro League team, but because of the little knowledge due to poor record keeping, Nipper had to dig to unravel the past. He soon discovered an image circa 1951 of 4 Negro League players, and across their chests read, "Stars," which was one of the few remaining photographs of the Negro Southern League team, the Nashville Stars. Lohr found inspiration to bring baseball back to Nashville, forming an organization named Music City Baseball. This organization quickly picked up steam, making connections with Tim Corbin, the Vanderbilt head baseball coach, then to the athletic director, David Williams, who was the first black athletic director in the SEC, then eventually forming a partnership with the Negro League Baseball Museum. And with an all-star cast with names like Eddie George, Tony La Russa, Tim Corbin, Dave Stewart, and along with other influential music industry advisors including Justin Timberlake, Darius Rucker, and many more, the plan started to really come to life. With plans by 2025 to have an entertainment district built for a potential expansion franchise to be brought to Nashville, Music City Baseball has illuminated the city of Nashville brighter than it already was. And in MLB The Show 22, it's time to reach for the stars. Baseball is back in Nashville. Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome to the Nashville Stars Franchise. We have really done every type of franchise on this channel, whether it's been current teams, whether it's been custom teams, but never before have we done a completely new expansion franchise. Now, you will see what that means soon, but this is based off of an actual organization, MLBMusicCity.com. Go check it out. This is an organization set up in Nashville right now to potentially have the next expansion team in the MLB. This is a serious organization. They have done a ton of work, and they are in prime position to be the next MLB destination. I promise you, I just feel it. They're going to be the next one. Now, since this is a new expansion franchise, we have to go and do everything new. So that means getting a new farm system, new prospects, new everything. So what we have done is completely gutted the organization. We took the place of the Orioles. Technically in MLB The Show, you can't create a new expansion team. So we had to gut a organization completely, and we did it with the Orioles. So we wiped out all their minor league players, and we're going to do an expansion draft. Now, in expansion drafts, how it works is you draft players from current MLB teams. You can also pick up free agents. So here are our rules. So first, all teams must unprotect 6 players, and all unprotected players must have at least 1 year of service time. 2, all teams must unprotect 1 projected starting pitcher. So we can select 1 starting pitcher from every team that we have available to us. We cannot choose players in the AL East since we're going into that division. That's just a rule that I made up. We cannot select players owed more than $10 million. That will kind of emulate not being able to draft superstars. And then 5, we can only select 380 plus overall players. So we get the full experience with building this team up with players that are young, have potential, or just do fit our kind of farm system as it is. Now, here's a preview of the players we can select in this draft. Now, the Score app, if you're familiar with the app, I have it on my phone. They actually already did this in real life about 2 months ago or so. So they've already done this work for us. So they've unprotected every 6 players from every team. And now we get into the expansion draft. We will go over the first top 10 picks. With our number 1 overall pick, we will select Chris Paddack from the San Diego Padres. Now, why would the Padres unprotect Paddack? Now, remember, they have to unprotect one starting pitcher. They have Clevenger, Darvish, Musgrove, and Snell. Paddack was just the odd man out. Luckily for us, he is just 78 overall, but B potential and 26 years old. I think this is the guy we should build around in the rotation, unless we find somebody amazing in the draft. Number 2 overall, we draft Tyrone Taylor. I love Tyrone Taylor. He is 28. He is going into his baseball prime. In my opinion, baseball primes, a lot of them happen between ages 28 and 32. I think guys really start to take off there. And then, depending on how they do in that age frame, they really can have really good careers. Now, I did adjust his position from left field to right field, which is why you see his overall go down. But I like him as our number 2 guy, hopefully a cornerstone in the fielding part of our organization. So next, I kind of go for a boomer bust type of guy in Jamie Barria. He is 71 overall, plays for the Angels. He is 25 years old, out of Panama. I like what he has. Does he do anything spectacular? No. But I'm banking on that age. And remember, because of the rules in this draft, we can't just draft, 80 overall guys and A potential guys. Those guys just aren't available. They're already protected. The unprotected guys like Jamie Barria are guys we have to take chances on. That takes us to our number 4 overall selection when we go after Dominic Smith from the Mets. Now, in MLB The Show 21, he was a lot higher of a potential at A potential. Now he's just the B potential. And he had a whole lot of quirks in that game. All those are out the window now. He is kind of a guy that we kind of have to see what we can get out of him. This could be another boomer bust type of selection. Now, the good thing we have riding for him is that he is still B potential, 26 years old. He has just not maybe hit quite up to what the Mets have wanted him to hit. He hit 244 last year, which isn't absolutely terrible, but it's okay.
Bases still jammed. Nottingham turns on one to left field. Did you? Grand slam. The Brewers have taken the lead.
With our next selection, we go after Jacob Nottingham, a guy in the Brewers organization that was supposed to be the guy to replace Jonathan Lucroy some years ago, but he just did not live up to the hype. Now, he was a part of the Orioles organization. He was the one guy I made an exception on. Everybody else in the Orioles is in free agency, so other teams can pick those guys up. With our next selection at pick number 6, we go after Victor Robles. Now, I've been following just like some of these guys' backstories, and Robles was a guy that has very high hopes. I mean, he started in the World Series, and everybody in the Nationals organization thought he was going to be the next big outfielder for them, but he hasn't lived up to the hype. 220 and 203 in back-to-back seasons. I just think that they unprotected him because I don't think they can get anything much more out of him. So we'll have to see, how he does, but he is an excellent fielder. Now, behind the plate, we decide to go after Jorge Alfaro. I decided to draft 2 catchers in our top 10 because catchers are so hard to find in MLB The Show, to be honest with you, especially the young ones. I have struggled to find good catchers. So Jorge Alfaro is a decent guy at 28 years old. I like him. We'll see how those 2 catchers do with Nottingham and Alfaro. Going to Miami, we decide to go after a veteran here in Miguel Rojas. I really, really like him. I've seen him play in person quite a few times, and he is actually very, very smooth at the position. I'm hoping that we can just get a couple of years out of him. He is on a 2-year contract remaining, and just looking at, what he's done, he's actually been really good. A 265 year last year, 304 the year before that, and 284 the year before that. I will take that. In 2020, his OB on base percentage was 392. So I'm just hoping that he can be a guy that can, be the bridge to the next generation of shortstop. Next, we decide to draft Eliezer Hernandez, staying in Miami. I like Eliezer Hernandez. He is kind of the odd man out of their rotation. They have a lot of young guys, but I think Hernandez is the guy they unprotected because I'm not sure they thought that he could get much better than what he is. Now, last year he had a 4.18 ERA, a 1.32 whip, and only 11 games. So just interesting. I'm hoping that I can get the most out of him. With our final pick in the top 10, we go after Phil Maton. He is actually, rating-wise, the best overall relief pitcher in the Astros organization, but we decided to go after him. He hasn't put up great numbers, which is very, very interesting because he's a high overall guy at 29 years old. I just need a good bullpen arm. So let's go over the rest of the roster here. And we still follow the same rules outside of our top 10 picks. We decided to go after Brett Anderson in free agency. I offered him a 1-year, I think $3 million year. I think I had to overpay a little bit, but just to have a guy in the rotation. We don't have many options. Just remember that we don't have many options. And the cool thing about it is that we get to build this team the way we want. Jake Woodford, I thought would be a higher potential in MLB The Show 22, but he is not. He is the potential. I don't necessarily agree with that, and I might adjust it up to a C. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do there. Let me know in the comment section if you think I should boost his up from a D to a C. I think it's pretty cruel to have a D potential as a MLB starting pitcher. I don't know why it would be that low. Now, Josh Fuentes was a guy I picked up in free agency. I don't have high hopes for him, but I just needed a third baseman, and he was the best available, so he is just a decent player. Chad Pinder was interesting. We snagged him from the Oakland Athletics. He's been an Athletic for a very long time. He can play every single position. For us, he's going to play second base. So I switched his position full-time over to second base, and like I said, he's a decent guy. I'm hoping that, he can possibly be a guy we can play everywhere. Just looking at his reaction at 82, that's valuable at every single position. He also can hit pretty well. His stats don't say that, but I think in MLB The Show, he will be a good player for us. Now let's talk about our depth here with Eric Sogard in the infield. Definitely not going to be a starter, but a guy that does fill in case of fatigue or injury or anything like that. This team is not fully complete. I do plan on getting deeper players, at least players into the season, but we'll talk about the farm system and what capital we have to trade a little bit later. Jesus Aguilar from Miami. We have snagged 3 Miami players in Eliezer Hernandez, Miguel Rojas, and now Jesus Aguilar. I'm not sure why the I almost said the Miami Dolphins, the Miami Marlins decided not to protect Jesus Aguilar. He is the one exciting piece they have, but maybe they are going for the full-on rebuild. At first base, I also decide to go after Evan White. This is interesting. I'm not sure at all why the Mariners decided to let him go. I mean, he's still 25 years old. Even though he's hit for very low average and is limited at bats, I still think you need to give him more of a rope to really see what he can do. Now let's talk about the other outfield positions which help Robles in center and Tyrone Taylor in right. Oscar Mercado, a guy that was probably going to get a shot to start in Cleveland, but obviously Cleveland has other ideas. He hit 224 last year, 300 on-base percentage, stole 7 bases. I think this is a guy that we can see what we get. 27 years old, he's not too old. And then backing up everybody, pretty much another utility guy like Chad Pinder is going to be Eli White. One thing that attracted me to him is his speed, 99. He's a good defensive player. Sometimes you need those type of players, not guys that can hit well, just guys that can kind of pinch run, that can play good defense, and he's one guy that I really, really like. Now let's look at our bullpen. And I mean, we had a better time picking our bullpen than other positions. I think we had a bigger pick of the litter here. So we go after two guys that have been in the league quite a long time with Clippard and the last guy we just saw. Cody Stajic is going to be the next guy. I'm not in love with him, but looking at what he is, he's a good ratings guy. I'm not sure he's a good stats guy. So we'll have to see if maybe he is a guy that we maybe move on from at the trade deadline. Luke Jackson is next. He had a good year last year, but we'll have to see what we can get out of him. And then Joel Payamps, is that how you say it? Pomps? I'm not really sure. I haven't seen much of Arizona, and he's now playing for Kansas City, but 115 whip last year. Pretty good as a relief pitcher. But the guy I love the most out of our bullpen is Jose Ruiz. Just looking at his stats, you would say, man, like, this is a good pitcher. I'm not sure why the White Sox kind of unprotected him, but I am excited to see what he can develop into. He's 67 overall and beat potential. I guess we'll just have to see how we develop him. Now, our budget looks like this. We do not have anybody making close to $10 million, to be honest with you. And that was kind of the goal with this. I wanted to completely build up this organization. So we removed all of the prospects. We don't have any Orioles prospects, any Orioles players. They're all in free agency. I'm going to let the computer kind of pick them up as the season goes on. The computer, at least in MLB The Show 21, picked up free agents throughout the year. So I definitely want that to happen here so that, you know, I don't have to hand pick which team each player goes to. One guy that I really struggled, quick side note, to let go of was Ryan Mountcastle. I was like, man, should I make the exception for him? But I didn't. I decided to kind of build this team on my own, not have any type of head start. We don't really have a guy to build this team around offensively, but we will see how we can do. Really finding somebody possibly in the draft. So here we go. Let's hop into spring training and see how our team does. And right away, you see Berea giving up a big shot to Brian Hayes, and that one was absolutely crushed. A leadoff home run in our first user spring training game. Here is Brian Reynolds at the plate, and he gets a hit up the middle, the center fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Up comes Daniel Vogelback, playing in his first season with the Pirates. He gets a hit to right field, and that will be a single. Can Jamie Berea get out of this inning, and he gets a pop fly just short of right field, and that one is run down by Chad Pinder. Somebody in the comment section let me know what the badges mean next to the fielders. I'm not actually going to control fielding when it comes to the season because I played on auto fielding last year, and it definitely is the best way to find out based on ratings who is a good fielder. It gives you the best sim experience, and also, you know, the CPU just gets better jumps on balls than we would get. So I just like that idea of playing off of the ratings. And then Chad Pinder gets, or that's actually Nottingham, gets the first hit of the spring that we controlled. Up comes the next batter. That's going to be Victor Robles to the plate. He hits one hard to the left side. Now I'm debating where Robles should hit in the lineup, whether he should hit leadoff or I should have Oscar Mercado hit leadoff. We'll see. Here is the next batter up to the plate. This is Mercado who hits one down the left field line. It's knocked down, and now there's bases loaded with one out. That's going to bring up Miguel Rojas, a guy that I'm predicting to hit the highest average this year. He hits one to center field. Brian Reynolds gets a bad jump on that one. It looks like he went backwards first and eventually caught up to it. A great diving play right there. But Nottingham comes in to score on the sacrifice fly. Up comes Dominic Smith to the plate. He hits one up the middle, and we drive in two. And here is Mercado trying to get to third, and the throw is offline from Reynolds. First and third situation now. We're coming back. It's now 3-2. Jesus Aguilar to the plate, coming over from Miami. He hits one hard up the middle, and that one will be a single, but I'm still getting used to the controls here. I actually am moving over from the usual PS5 where I played this game last year on MLB The Show 21 to Xbox. Got to get used to the controller and just different controls here going over to the new system. I actually like that they have this compatible with Xbox now. So we will be playing this on Xbox if you haven't noticed already. Here is Jesus Aguilar up to the plate here in the 8th inning. That's a hard ground ball to short. And that one will be the final out. We end up losing this game to the Pittsburgh Pirates, but I really am just getting used to the game. This is one of my first games. I actually think this was my first game playing on the Show 22. So just getting used to everything here in spring training. Do not take this for law. Now, I want to talk about the difficulty and everything. So how I'm going to do it is I'm going to play Hall of Fame on both pitching and hitting. And I want to try dynamic difficulty out just to see how that is for pitching, because I feel like sometimes CPU teams just get overpowered at the plate, but we'll see how that goes. I usually play on Legend, but this year I just need to get used to the game before making that leap. But once I do, you guys will know about it. But we will see how this series goes as far as difficulty. I don't know how it plays over a good sample size, but we'll see. Chris Paddock on the mound facing the Philadelphia Phillies as he faces Bryce Harper with 2 outs. He walks him as that brings up Nick Castellanos to the plate. Hard ground ball to short. This is knocked down by Rojas, and it will be a base hit. They will rule that one as that brings up Kyle Schwarber for the Phillies now. Inside pitch, and he turns on this one. It's driven deep to right field. Tyrone Taylor giving chase. And I'm not used to the jump animations at the wall. That's a home run. Fielding will be on auto, so hopefully the CPU will make a better play at that ball. But Chris Paddock, who is expected to be our ace this year, gives up a 3-run dinger. As now we go to the bottom of the first inning. Here is Oscar Mercado, who is trying out that leadoff spot here in the spring. We will see how he does. But I think right now, I think he's our best option at leadoff, too. He's at 82 speed. Here's Miguel Rojas with a hard ground ball to short, and it's knocked down and thrown on to first. Should have been a double play on that one. Evan White coming over from the Mariners. He gets his first at-bat here with us controlling him, and Zach Eflin gets him to swing at the low and outside slider. Bringing up Jesus Aguilar, who goes the other way, and this one will get them out of this inning. But I want to give you guys a good look at pretty much everybody we have to hit with. Oscar Mercado at the plate now. He hits one to center field. This one will drop in the 3rd inning, and now we have runners on first and third with 1 out. Miguel Rojas at the plate again. 0 for 1 outside pitch, and he is way too early on that swing. He's ahead of it, but a chopper to the pitcher will score our first run of the game. Evan White again, outside slider, and that one is way out of the zone. Wild pitch on that one. 2-2 count. Low pitch again. It's a slider. Strike 3. He struck out twice on that slider already today. And the Phillies end up getting the victory in this one. 4-1. We get 7 hits. Nottingham goes 1 for 3 with a double. Oscar Mercado goes 2 for 3, and Chad Pinder gets a multi-hit game as well, 2 for 4. And now for our final spring training game here in the Grapefruit League, we will go against the Detroit Tigers, and we will see Elizar Hernandez. Like I said, this is a guy that I'm looking forward to quite a bit here in this rotation. And I want to just say, the ordering in which I drafted had nothing to do with how I feel about the players, because obviously I drafted Jamie Barria at that number 3 spot in the draft, but he is definitely not our number 3 guy that we want to build around. Obviously, I think that I would rank Elizar Hernandez a little higher. Here's a ground ball up the middle. Chad Pinder, and look at that, right in the right place. They went with the hit and run. It did not work out. Double play ball. And now we move on to the bottom of the first inning, facing Spencer Turnbull. This is going to be Tyrone Taylor. I'm going to try him out in that 3 spot. I had Dominic Smith there. He walks. That brings up Jesus Aguilar. He gets a pitch right over the middle. That's a hard hit ball on the left field line. It's knocked down, and Aguilar beats it out. But we try to be aggressive here with Taylor, and he gets thrown out at second in the rundown. and just trying some stuff out, just testing out the show, seeing what I can get away with here in spring training. As that brings up Josh Fuentes for his first user-controlled hit here in the spring. With 2 outs here in the second inning, that brings up Chad Pinder with a man on first base. High pitch, and that one will be a hit to the right side again. Pinder is a guy that could move up in the lineup depending on how we do this year. As that brings up Victor Robles to the plate, and that's going to be an off-speed pitch. He hits it to short, and a great throw to second will get Chad Pinder sliding in feet first. Maybe if he would have went in head first, he would have been called safe. Bottom of the 7th inning. This is going to be Fuentes at the plate. He gets enough wood on this one, and that drops just inside the chalk down the right field line in a 4-2 game. As that brings up Robles here with 1 out. Low slider, strike 3. Joe Jimenez on the mound for the Detroit Tigers. 2 outs here as that brings up Oscar Mercado to the plate. He hits one hard up the middle. This one stopped on the diving attempt. It's safe at first. Mercado with really good speed. As they go to the bullpen, they bring in Jose Cisnero. And now with a man on first and second, Miguel Rojas, the veteran shortstop, up to the plate here. 2-1 count. He gets one low and drives this one deep. This one's got carry, and the first home run of the spring will come from our man from Miami. I love it. The little guy, I think he's only like 5'7" or something like that. Miguel Rojas. He's going to be a good bat for us. Like I said, my prediction is that he leads our team in average. Let me know what your prediction is down in the comments section below. And he just drove that one. Perfect on that one. 4-15 off of the bat. And now we continue this inning here. Tyrone Taylor, he gets his first user-controlled hit. I want to figure out everybody's swing, figure out everybody's stance. I don't know everybody's here. And here's Jesus Aguilar with 2 outs. He hits one deep to right field. That one was hit right on the screws. Just early was the timing, but the reticle was right there. And if you guys are questioning what hitting system I'm using zone hitting. I like to use zone because it does give me a little bit more control, especially having more user input. And I actually like it. It keeps me engaged. So we go on to win this game here, and we get the victory versus the Detroit Tigers. And we finish the spring at 13-16. Not a bad record, especially for a new expansion team. We are literally I think the 30th ranked overall team. Now, I have not finished the farm system as of right now, but I will get that done. And next episode will be opening day. I wanted to introduce you guys to the squad, allow you guys to see, what I've done. This is like the way to go, to be honest with you. Like if you do a new team, a creative team, completely gut the farm system. It allows you to go through free agency, pick out players that you want. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed this episode mainly because of the work that went into it. I haven't even finished the stadium yet. I did so much work to get us to this point. I'm excited for this because this series is based off of a real organization looking to bring a real team to Nashville. So we will see how we do in this series. I'm excited for it. Let me know down in the comment section who's going to be your boom and who's going to be your bust player in this series that we've seen on the initial roster. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Episode 2 will be right around the corner here at opening day. Once I finish the stadium, it should be beautiful though. So hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I like getting money, I got time to get it. Target on me, so my car's a tenant. Dancing with the devil, I don't bargain with it. Bobbing in the dash, and the stick is with it. And I hit the 4-5 on the west side. But I'm from the east side, this how we slide. This how we ride, yeah, this how we ride.